Before I met Jesus, my life was a mess. I was about as far away from God as you could be. I always considered myself a Christian because I believed in God, but didn't know what it meant to have a relationship with Him. I went to the service when I was 18 and kind of got tricked into doing something I didn't want to do. So I was angry. I was taking steroids and started drinking a lot, and those three did not make for a good combination. So I got in a lot of trouble for drinking and fighting. I was arrested in 4 different countries. I had 3 different DUIs within a year's time. Got into a couple really bad fights and got beat up with nightsticks and had broken ribs and a punctured lung and left out in the field to die. Actually got kicked out of the service, and they told me that I was alcohol dependent and alcohol dependency could not be cured, and they told me I'd be dead by the time I was 30. I got out of service and just had a couple different jobs. Actually got another DUI when I moved back to Iowa and lost my job driving a truck and just went into a big, just a drinking frenzy for about a year and was just about as far away from God as I could be.
So I actually don't remember when I accepted Jesus as my Savior. I grew up in a Christian home and went to church all my life, and I went to a Christian school as well. And so Jesus and God and my faith was kind of always part of my life.
Before I met Jesus, my life was a mess that didn't appear a mess. It was a mess that looked like a pretty good time. Between the ages of 17, 18, 19, I found myself turning to drugs and alcohol in a way I never really thought I would. By the time I got to college, I was a blackout drinker. I drank to get drunk, I drank to black out, I drank to escape. I drank to fit in. Any occasion I could find, I drank, and I came to this environment of college and I was totally validated in everything that I was doing. It was all, I compare it, it was like I was standing behind a billboard. My billboard had me smiling, my billboard had me in college, getting classes done, but nobody really knew that I wasn't sleeping at night and I was snorting pills and snorting 80, 90 milligrams of Adderall and smoking every day and blacking out drinking, and it started to eat away at me in a way that I wasn't totally aware of.
My parents were really good about seeing God in most things, so I grew up aware that He existed. I grew up hearing stories of faith and miracles, and I would even say I had a relationship with Him from a young age, but as with many relationships, things don't always go the way we want. When some difficult things happened in life and things were not working the way I thought they should, I got mad at God, and I didn't want anything to do with Him.
As a young adult, I really struggled with depression. There was so much so that I wasn't able to finish college right out of high school. I struggled to go to class. In fact, I basically didn't go to class. And struggled to even hold down a job. I went from job to job to job because I kept on looking for fulfillment and satisfaction in external things and looking for meaning to life. And so it got so bad. There was a 2-week period where I literally didn't leave my room. Depression was all I knew.
My life changed when I met Lynn, and we started dating, and I knew that she was the one that I wanted to marry. So when I asked her to marry me, she said she would marry me, but she wouldn't marry me unless I started going to church. So we started looking for a church to be married at and found Ashworth Road. So we came to church that following Sunday and just started visiting off and on. We actually got married at this church, started coming to Sunday school, and there was just something different about the people. Then one day I told Lynn that I didn't know what it was, but I wanted to have what the people here had. There was just something about how dads interacted with their kids and how husbands interacted with their wives that I'd never been around before. And then one day, a couple months later after Savannah was born, Lynn was in Louisiana, and I came to church And I remember I just sat and I just started crying. Didn't know why. And I remember sitting in the pew and just all the things that I'd done in my life, all the times that I'd been sitting in jail, the time that I was laying in a field, thought I was gonna die, just all the disappointment that I'd caused my parents and the people that I knew, all the women that I had mistreated in my life, just all these things popped into my head. And I could literally see God sitting beside me, telling me that, if I'll come with him, that I would never have to go through that again. God just took it all away, took away wanting to drink, any desire to drink. It just all left me.
I do remember when I was in 7th grade, having a teacher tell me that encouraging us to read the Bible every day, because he said if we did, we would have a better day. And I thought, that's a great deal, I'm going to try that. And so I began reading the Bible every day in 7th grade, and that really kind of opened up my eyes and made me a lot more interested in my faith.
July 4th, 2013, I took a powerful, nasty combination of a bunch of different drugs. I took them at midnight on the 4th of July, and I stayed up all night, and that's where God first spoke to me. And I will never forget the first moments where I saw the world for the first time, and I saw what it was, and that God had created all of it. And I started to see everything around me as a gift. And I remember I exploded. I was like, and it was as if like, I compare it to being picked up and being dropped back in the exact same place with just new eyes. And it was just like scales coming off. And I remember I went running over to my friend Shane, and as I was running up to him, I felt this wind come from behind me, like this warm wind that hit like every cell of my body. And I came running up to him like I had known it all along, and I just looked at him and I hugged him and I said, Shane, I did not believe that I could be saved until right now.
I can't say there was one single event that caused me to change the way I think about Jesus, but rather a string of events and bad decisions that I had made over a period of years allowed me to see that Jesus was always there. He never changed.
So in this period, I was looking for meaning and trying to find answers to what is the purpose to life and things like that. And I had a grandma that was a Christian, and I remember going to her house and just asking questions, and she would kind of just, it seemed like that day that she had all the answers to all the questions that I had. And from that time, I slowly began to seek out Christian fellowship and began to read the Bible for the first time ever. And things just seemed to make sense. And so I just began to, as best I knew how, just to follow Jesus.
After that point, I started to take my faith and my relationship with Jesus a lot more seriously. And it changed me in that I started to realize, this isn't just a bunch of rules that we follow. This isn't just a big religious thing that we do. My faith is a relationship with Jesus, and that's what it's all about.
It's like I can barely remember how I existed or what I thought about or how I believed or before then. There's my life, there's the last 18 months of my life, and then there's the first 19 years, and it's just like night and day.
When I came to accept that I was not always right, and I surrendered to the fact that this life isn't about me, I'm just a small part of something much bigger, and truly realized that He has power over death, life started making so much more sense. I was able to put the needs of others above my own wants and desires. I was able to think with a long-term perspective rather than from an immediate gratification perspective. Material things and status symbols no longer held the same appeal to me as they had before, and things of real value like truth, faith, love, and hope became most important.
Things changed since then. I was able to obviously hold down a job, able to finish college. There's joy that I'm able to experience in life that I didn't experience before.
If I hadn't surrendered to Jesus, it's very likely that I wouldn't be alive today. And if I were alive, I wouldn't be the same person that I am. Today, I'm a person with many blessings, which include friends from all over the world, much love, great families, trust, respect, honor, things of real and lasting value.
If I never became a Christian, I believe fully that I would be continuing in my downward spiral.
I believe that everyone has a God. It's just who or what is that God. And if I wasn't a Christian, I think my God would probably be my work or my career or something like that. I would put a lot more emphasis on that. There'd be another idol in my life, I think. But because I'm a Christian, because of my relationship with Jesus, I certainly try to make him number one in my life.
And I think about what it would be like if I had never become a Christian. I probably would be dead. They said I'd be dead by the time I'm 30, and there's no doubt in my mind that if I wouldn't have accepted Christ, that I would be dead. I wouldn't have the wife that I have, I wouldn't have the children that I have, and I wouldn't have the friends that I have if it wasn't for God.
Man, if I never became a Christian, man, my life would be totally different than what it is now. I love it when I tell people how severely I struggle with depression, and they're like, "Really, you?" And they can't even imagine, that part of me. But so I love it when Jesus just makes you new. It really is a new creation, a new life, and I love that the old things are gone and the new things come.
The love of Jesus in you just changes everything.